Hey guys, how y'all doing? I'm here to give you guys a recap on the new chapter of One Piece, which is on chapter 913. Now, this chapter right here, well, felt a little bit short, but I guess it's pretty nice. And next week, it's gonna suck again, which I'll announce after this recap. So if anything else, let's go. We have to it that Zoro and Luffy goes up against like Hawkins, I believe. Yeah, Basil Hawkins. Oh my gosh, dude. It's been so long I haven't seen that guy and I even forgotten his name, and now it's revealed in this chapter. Thank goodness. We have to it that Luffy pronounces that he's here to kick Kaido's butt, and Zoro's like, hey, you shouldn't say that thing out loud, you know, that kind of thing. And we see to it that Hawkins looks into Luffy's future and he says the probability of you being alive is like 19% at the end of this month. And Zoro looks at Luffy's sword and asks him where did he get that sword, and Luffy explained that Luffy says it's supposed to be a well-renowned sword right Gozaru or something. And we have to it that Zoro's like, whoa, it has a serious renowned aura that I may be familiar with. Here, can I hold it for a second? And we have to it that Luffy doesn't listen. He's trying to use the sword and he throws the sheath away, which is really stupid. We have to it that Luffy tries using the sword, but he sucks at it pretty badly. And of course, when it comes to the lizard, Luffy almost got bitten by it, grabs the lizard, and throws it at Hawkins, you know? But apparently, Hawkins kills it with his water-bite sword. And apparently, we get to see his ability right now, where Zoro actually tries to cut Hawkins with his blade. But apparently, it somehow transfers to one of his subordinates, surprisingly. And we see to it that, like, Luffy's like, how in the hell was he able to do that? And we have to it that Hawkins was using an ability called Life Minus, which is from his Devil Fruit power. We have to it that he explains that the straw man represents his subordinates, etc. He also explains that the straw fruit lets him hold clones inside of him, which means I can remain undamaged. If there are 10 of these, I can die 10 times. I'm like, so how many can you really make in the maximum total, you know? And we get to see his straw man's car, which seems to be very, very threatening, because we see to it that like he's taking on Luffy and Zoro like no problem. Apparently we see to it that Hawkins draws a good card or something, that he'll draw a good card next time, but it's called a fool card or something. And that give an individual ability to surpass the limits whatsoever. I don't know. And we see to it that like he ends up drawing a Hierophant card in reverse or something. And we see to it that they go after Zoro or Luffy, the straw man's card. I don't know what that ability is. And we see to it that this shocks me the most, because Zoro mentions that this straw man that Hawkins made actually has very powerful strength. And eventually we see to it that he somehow managed to actually damage Zoro, surprisingly, you know? And I'm like, whoa, you know, I'm pretty sure if you guys remember, ever since Zoro entered the new world, he would actually not take too much damage, with the exception that Fujitora would be the one to actually give him a challenge to make him spit out blood. But Hawkins, on the other hand, is one of the few people that's actually able to like harm Zoro, and he almost got his right eye, like literal right eye. And we have to it that Zoro manages to escape by using his powerful sword technique, and he managed to get the hell off. And we have to it that Hawkins' subordinates like, should we go after this guy? But Hawkins says no. Someone's gonna help him escape apparently, and it's Suru-chan, or should I say Suru, tea house owner. And apparently she realizes that the young girl, which I forgot her name, Tama-chan, the little girl Tama, is pretty much sick and realizes that we had to get to a tea house. I could actually heal her up or something. Zoro was against this, but after he heard like I could give her some medicinal herbs, I should be able to reverse the river's poisonous effect. And we have to it that that things kind of gotten really tense right now, but we see to it that we get to see another chick flick around here, which is apparently at the Wano Country Kuri whatsoever. and Town of Leftovers. And apparently she is getting hit on, and she looks really beautiful. Her name is Okiku or something. She's known to be the tea house poster girl. This guy was trying to hit on her, going, "Hey, how about I make you my wife? You know, you'll be able to eat delicious food. You will farm every day, and you'll never go hungry again. How about you come with me?" She goes like, "I'm sorry, if my social standing is different from yours, if you aren't going to place an order, I'm gonna ask you to leave or something, you know." It was some big fat sumo guy, which he says that he's Wano country's strongest sumo wrestler, and we had to it that that things are not looking so good right now, because Suru-chan was actually asking Okiku boil up some water right now because this Otama-chan is actually drank River's poison, and they go, "Oh no, that's not good." And we see at the end of the chapter that we see Trafalgar Law subordinates or something finding the Straw Hats there. They go like, "Huh, should we call them over before they cause any trouble or something?" And one of them goes like, "You stand too much out, Beppo." And yeah. And next week, Weekly Shonen Jump will be on break apparently, so looks like we won't be able to get another chapter for another 2 weeks, which really sucks, but you know, life is life, and that's how it is. Anyways, overall in this chapter, it's just Zoro and Luffy facing Hawkins, and we get to see more of Hawkins' abilities aside from reading fortunes and figuring out like what's gonna happen to them. And we have to it that one of Hawkins' abilities is like freaking like what you might call it, life minus, etc. So apparently, if he has clones within himself in his fruit, he could continue to die and come back or something. Which I go like, how's that even work? And eventually, he draws out some kind of giant straw man to go after Luffy and the others, and he managed to actually injure Zoro a bit, to my shock. Aside from that, some girl Suru who was saved by Zoro wants to repay him and wants to heal up Tama-chan, and apparently shows up at the tea house. And right now we see another nice chick flick called Okiku, you know, etc. And we see Beppo and Trafalgar Law subordinates overall at the end of the chapter. That's pretty much it. Nothing much really happened here and there, but yeah, that's about it. Until then, I'll see you guys in the next video. So, I'm Alpha Zero, people. Have a good day, and I'll see you guys next time, alright? Peace out. Bye-bye. Toot-toot-toot!